Alright, so chapter 168 of Chainsaw Man does not pull any punches because there were some really heavy moments in this chapter that were hard to read through, and if you understand Denji's character after all the things he went through, it does hit a lot harder. But picking up where we left things off, it starts off with Yoru who's still in control of Asa's body, and Denji was slumped over in shock after everything that went on in the last chapter. And Yoru, she doesn't waste any time in traumatizing Denji even more than she already has, because Yoru makes it very clear to Denji that the only reason why she kissed him and did the things that she did to him was because it just felt good. Where we get the confirmation that the only reason why Yoru was interested in Denji and acted the way that she did was because of Asa's feelings and the lust that she had for Denji owned around her, which led her to violate not only Denji but Asa as well. Although it's debatable if Yoru actually feels that way, because in a rare moment we get some level of her showing in a very strange way a bit of petty towards Denji, if you can call it that, and she goes in for another kiss. So it's pretty clear that even though Asa, it's very clear that she likes Denji, it appears that Yoru may also like Denji as well, although since she's a devil, she's not able to fully process the feelings and understand what they really mean. And this leads Denji to ask the most important question if Asa likes him, and Yoru replies back with, no, I don't like you at all. And we see the shock and horror on Denji's face that I'll be touching on more on this in a bit, as this is a really important moment. But here we see that Denji, he gets his first hint that there may be something strange going on with Asa, because Yoru says, even though I don't like you, the other me does, which is the biggest hint to Denji of Asa's contract with Yoru, which is something that Denji doesn't know about. And possibly some acknowledgement from Yoru that Asa is slowly becoming the War Devil and a completely different person as a result of Yoru's personality seeping into Asa and, well, Asa's personality seeping into Yoru. Think My Hero Academia, where All For One literally called Shigaraki at one point the other me. And when you think about the relationship that Shigaraki and All For One had, well, they're a lot similar to how Asa and Yoru's relationship is in Chainsaw Man. But after this happens, Yoru gets up and says, yeah, I'm hungry, and advises Denji to eat some sushi and just walks off into the sunset. And we get the saddest panel in this chapter of Denji sitting alone in the alleyway with his head held down, defeated. And this panel says so much without having to say anything, because throughout the Chainsaw Man series, Denji was someone who always wanted to be intimate with a woman, which he does get in the last chapter, but he wanted to be with someone who actually liked him and who really did love him, which, I think after everything he's gone through in the last two chapters, he finally does realize that this is what he truly wants. And it's why after everything that's happened to Denji, he asks the question, do you like me, over and over again, almost like he needs Asa to say yes, because at the very least, if Asa answered yes, then it means that he wouldn't be getting used and abused and discarded by another woman he trusted like he has for really a majority of his life, and experienced the pain, the heartbreak, and the trauma that comes with it. And as Yoru is walking away, we have to see Asa come in and take control of her body while Yoru is in control, which is actually the first time that Asa has done it in the series, which is showing how connected Asa and Yoru have actually become. But with this newfound control, Asa proceeds to actually beat Yoru and herself up, which is really hard to watch, because this breakdown that Asa is showing is not only showing how disgusted she is with what Yoru did to Denji and the way she treated him, but also with herself. And Asa proceeds to process these emotions that she has after pretty much everything that she's gone through with just harming and just degrading herself, calling Yoru a slut over and over again and pretty much referring to herself as one. And after all of this is said and done, when she just doesn't have the energy anymore to just harm herself, she just breaks down and we see her cry alone in the alleyway all by herself. And we see how much Yoru has hurt Asa to the point where it's going to take a lot of effort from Yoru to rebuild any type of relationship that they actually had. What the key thing that Yoru actually needs to understand to rebuild a relationship is empathy, because throughout part 2's story, Yoru has always been displayed as this very cold, logical, and quite possibly the most selfish person that we've probably seen throughout the series, to the point where she never once considered Asa's feeling or tried to get to know her on an emotional level to actually understand her. Which, I mean, if Yoru had, she would have known that the action she took against Denji and using Asa's body was quite possibly the worst decision that she could have ever made. And after this entire event is pretty much said and done, it skips on over to Asa and Denji, who are sitting far away from each other on the train to the sushi restaurant, with both of them being clearly embarrassed and traumatized by everything that's gone on. Where we see that they finally arrived to the sushi restaurant that was recommended by the Famine Devil a few chapters ago, and that is how the chapter ends. But let me know what you guys thought of this chapter, and if there's anything Yoru could possibly do to redeem herself in Asa and Denji's eyes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.